Hello everyone, it's me Hunter and welcome back to another review. Today we have another tank or steam engine, a large tank engine, not from the Thomas and Railway franchise or Thomas and Friends franchise, but a tank engine that I wanted to build. I wanted to build a that's one of my dog hair. Some dog hair on there. It happens sometimes. I mean, if anyone who has a lab knows they shed. And they shed a lot. Even in the winter, they shed a little bit. But my goal with this build, like with Little Red, was to use parts from the Hogwarts Express. Oddly enough, I had a Hogwarts Express just sitting in my Lego room, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take it, but I want to get rid of the tender. I want to build it without a tender. And that's what I did. The large tank engine you see here is not based off of any one design. It takes inspiration from pretty much a whole load of large tank engines I saw. One I primarily use when you kind of Google large steam tank engines. I believe it's called the Remembrance. It's just a really big looking tank engine. It's pretty intimidating for anyone who kind of understands the railway and knows the side. It just looked intimidating. And so I kind of just used that as a basic reference of where certain parts should line up, where the wheels should go. A big thing I did, which I don't mind, a little easier, was I put a trailing trucks, or the two wheels in front instead of one set a wheel in back and one set in front. I just said that back. I said in back and in front, but you know what I meant, in back and in front. Sometimes, guys, these videos just don't go to plan, but you kind of got to roll with the punches. That's what makes these fun. Remember that, if you want a professional, keep it professional as you can, but sometimes little goofs like that just make the video that much more enjoyable. Anyways, back to the video. For a lot of you who maybe have built the Hogwarts Express, the most recent version from 2019 or into 2018, beginning of 2019, probably into 2018, if I had to be honest. I honestly can't remember. But it's actually, I pretty much built the bottom. I built exactly the locomotive from the wheels up. And then that's when I started to make different changes. I built the cab. Interior is pretty much the same, except I turned it into a tank engine, so I closed off the cab, gave it a larger coal bunker in back. I wanted to do side tanks like Thomas's, but they slope down. So then you still have the center boiler coming through the middle, and I think it came out very well. We have the large dome up top. I almost say it's very menacing looking. Not really, but when you put it next to, I do have Little Red actually with me, but so I know this guy's on a set of tracks, but when you put this engine next to Little Red, it does dwarf him quite a bit. Again, I know he's on tracks, or the larger tank engine is on tracks, but still, there is quite a little size difference, and I don't mind it. That's kind of what I was going for. A more strong, whatever you want, more strong, pretty much more strong tank engine. The large tank engine was something I wanted to build, and using the Hogwarts Express set I had, I went ahead and I did that. There's not much to look at outside the tanks here. We got the whistle and the safety valve. Something I did differently here on Percy, you probably remember me talking about using the jumper plates for the driver and firemen, the crew, other members to stand on. I actually went ahead and I tiled the whole inside of this build. Though it's easy to take the cab off, there's no good way to angle my camera, so I don't want to waste time mess with that. But you can pretty much see it's all tiled in there. The big reason for me doing that is the whole engine's red. This plate, there is red. When you look inside the locomotive, the floor of the cab is going to be red, and it just didn't look right. So I went ahead, I raised up the cab a little bit, and I put in that tiling, and it looks phenomenal. I love it. One thing I like is I did keep the ladder, or the steps on either side. Going around the back, you do have the larger coal bunker. Definitely bigger than any of the other coal bunkers I built on any of my other tank engines. And if you keep spinning it around, like I said, it's pretty much the same build. Obviously, I only have one wheel arch instead of the three. You have the tanks, kind of side tanks here, which actually, they're not even connected to this middle part. These are solely connected by, it looks to be one part that cuts through right up here, one little plate. And I always found that funny when I build with Legos. Sometimes it's just one part that holds everything together, and that's what it looks like. Sorry if this video once again felt a little jumbled around, like the Little Red video. But there's just not much for me to talk about when it's a custom build, especially for this one that was heavily based off of and pretty much rebuilt from the Hogwarts Express. That being said, a lot of you can probably look at this and hopefully kind of rebuild it too. This uses part from the coach as well as pretty much almost everything from the engine itself. The tender, not so much. So this is a build that you guys at home, if you have an extra Hogwarts Express you don't know what to do with, this could be something you could attempt for sure. I wouldn't necessarily call it an alternate build because I did use extra parts. Some of those parts being, the plates in here. Some of the stuff I did to bring this black line all the way back here, and so on. But without further ado, I'm going to end the video just because there's not much more for me to talk about, really. You can easily see the resemblance when I'm actually going to build a Hogwarts Express so I can compare it next to all of my locomotives I build. And I do have one actually sitting in my Lego room downstairs right now that I can build and put together so we can do a nice comparison video when the time comes between several of my custom-built locomotives versus that Lego version. But please like this video. Likes are the only way for me to know if these videos are good or bad. If you want to comment on the build, once again, follow me on Instagram. There I always post photos of the build, and then when I go to post the video on YouTube, I post a thumbnail there as well. Those give you 2 places you can comment on the build. So please, guys, if you can, go ahead and do that. Like this video, and I will see you in my next video.